Hello, everyone, and welcome to Technology Tuesday, hosted by Out of the Box Technology. We're excited to bring you these free webinars each and every week that feature third-party apps, tips and tricks from in and outside of QuickBooks, hot topics that our industry is encountering, and of course, what's going on here at Out of the Box Technology. My name is Jennifer, and I'm your moderator today. If you have any questions as the team is going through our presentation this afternoon, go ahead and use your question function on the GoToWebinar control panel and send those questions to me, and we'll make sure to have those answered throughout the session. If you haven't joined us for a Technology Tuesday in the last month or so, I just wanted to bring to the forefront an exciting announcement that Out of the Box Technology has merged with EBS Associates. We've joined forces to become one of the largest solution providers for QuickBooks, so it's just a really exciting time for our company as we continue to grow and expand our services. If you're not sure who we are, Out of the Box Technology, if this is one of your first Tech Tuesdays that you've joined. So Out of the Box is a QuickBooks training, integration, hosting, and support organization. We have a whole team of QuickBooks consultants that can help in all versions of QuickBooks all across the board, whatever services you're looking for. And we have an excellent development team, and that's who is joining us today. We have our whole apps guys on the phone, and they are going to talk to us today about custom mobile apps and just the different solutions we can provide for your business. I mean, apps really are the way of the future. We all have our phones in our hands. That's how we're connected, and it's just a great solution that can be provided. So considering we are Out of the Box Technology, a technology company, we thought it was only natural for us to offer that as a solution. So on the line today, I have Michael, Nick, and Jonathan. They are our apps guys, as we all call them. And so I'm just going to hand things over to them and let them get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton over to Nick, Michael, and Jonathan. Take it away, guys.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael. I'm one of the senior software developers here at Out of the Box Technology, and with me is Nick, another senior software developer, and John, our senior graphics designer. Right now, I'm just going to give a brief introduction of our custom development services. Then I'll hand it off to Nick, who's going to demo a couple of the mobile apps that we've done. Now, we've been doing custom development here for a number of years. One thing we've done quite a bit of are QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop custom integrations. Recur 360 is a prime example of that, but we've also done QuickBooks integrations for a number of our customers in their own systems, websites, and in their programs. And there's a true benefit to work with us on those. Not only can we develop the software, but we can provide the accounting expertise to go along with it. But outside of QuickBooks integrations, we have built so much more. We've done websites, servers, mobile applications, integrations between all kinds of platforms like Salesforce, payment processors, and much, much more. There have been some cases where initially we're hired on to build a QuickBooks integration into a client's website or program. They end up being so pleased with us that they ask us to work on completely unrelated features and just help them grow their platforms. So we have a wide range of expertise. Now, let's say you have the next great app idea that you want to sell to customers, or you have an idea for some kind of development project or a manual process you frequently go through that you want to automate. Well, you can always reach out to us at Out of the Box and just give us a little summary of what you're looking for. Typically, we'll schedule a meeting with you to discuss your project a little further. And then depending on what's all involved, we might have a research phase, review your systems, your platforms you want to work with, and ultimately, we'll provide you with a quote and a plan to make it happen. And we'll work with you throughout the entire process. Our graphic designer, John, he does amazing work. He can help with logos, colors, ideas. And then depending on the project, if there is a visual component such as a mobile app, he'll even make up wireframes so you can get an early idea of what to expect out of your app. And then throughout the whole way as we're working through your project, we'll give you betas. We'll listen to your feedback, your change requests, until we get it exactly how you want. After all that, for the mobile apps, you also have to go through a review process for the Apple or the Android store. And we've done that countless times. We'll help you get through that. We'll get your idea to the public. And just overall, we'll work with you through the whole process and make your ideas a reality. So to show you a couple examples of some of the custom mobile apps we've done, I'm going to hand this off to Nick.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and start this. So, forewarning, this is a simulator, so I'm not. Sometimes things can act different on a simulator. So here we go. All right. So, some of the apps that we've created are very like this is one example of one we created. This one includes a iOS app, an Android app, a backend server admin panel to manage the apps, as well as the databases to manage the content, and then the server to pass that content onto the apps. This app in particular was made very dynamic. It's intended to be almost a cookie cutter app so that you can have multiple businesses on it, so that like you can almost duplicate the app easily and change the color of it. So it's a way to basically get people a really cheap app. Think like almost like WordPress for apps, right? It's like a cheap way to get an app for your business if you're like a restaurant or bar is what they're mainly focused around, and the features in them are mainly focused around. Because our apps are all made completely native, so we don't actually like, take like WordPress and make like a site and then pop it into the app. We do pop websites into the app where you want, but they're always like natively inserted so that it's like a web view showing within the app, but we try to keep away from that to keep the experience as much of a nice flow as possible. So that would be the difference between, the website style of cookie cutter apps and ours, which are completely native for their platforms. Anyway, this one in particular, you can manage, you can see I have an example in front of you. So this one is for the Bavarian Beer House. It's just a bar and restaurant. What we do is we allow them to change anything from like their colors, from the top, the bottom, and then the side menu. You can change all of the items here. So like home, Stein Club, menus, all that stuff. Like you can change the ordering of it, what it says. You can change the icons on it. And here you have just like the home page where it kind of like shows like a nice overview of everything for the users, like upcoming events, stuff for the users, like their personal deals. Like these are one-time offers I can only redeem like once on my device, as well as birthday rewards, which I can or can't sign up for if I want to. I'm not signed up on this simulator. It shows the specials for that day. So this is what's going on Tuesday at this place. So it's just kind of an overview of that stuff. And then each page is customizable for like, okay, if I go to like specials, so like it'll refresh for any specials that this device has for one-time offers, as well as offers for like daily specials and stuff. And you can also sort those into categories. So kind of like that. And then these are, you can make many different sections. So like here in the admin portal, you can see this is where I would change the colors. And this is where I can like reorder and change the names of any of these items on the side. So here's like Stein Club, here's the menus. Right now I'm in specials right here. And so even if I wanted to see, okay, what's affecting the special section, I can go to offers, I can click on specials, and here's the ones that are currently enabled in the app. You can see they've had a lot of specials that they've disabled and wanted to keep the statistics on. And then you can kind of see like what ones they have enabled, and you can edit or add new ones. And then within these, there's a lot of different settings that you can do for like adding them to different categories, adding them to locations, what days are they available, things like that. So you can see that like there's just a lot of different there's a lot of different ways to customize it for a business, right? So they can do everything from add their logos to add the specials to adding the menu items to everything. So like these apps, basically we hand them out to someone and they'll go on the admin portal and they'll design it from start to finish. Just to show a few more features, here's the menu. The menu also, just like everything else, or just like many other things, is split into categories. You can still click on them, see the items. You can even share those, and then you can link those off to somewhere. We have a like and dislike button for people who want to keep track of what they've enjoyed or not enjoyed at a certain restaurant. Then there's a loyalty program, which is basically punch cards. I don't have an account on that on the simulator. Here's some events, so it's just like a list of events, which this type of thing also is also useful for another platform that we run, which is our event app, which is for conference apps. So there's basically two versions of this app. This one's for beer and restaurants, and then there's another version which is mainly for conferences and attendees at conferences, so that they can see a list of events and add those events to their calendar. And then they can see what's going on there, and then the people running the event can send push notifications to the attendees. It's similar to this too, because obviously the restaurant bar owners can send push notifications as well to their people, but it's just kind of a different spin on it. This app in general is just very versatile. So I guess if you were looking for a custom app and it fell in the category of restaurant or bar, or like our event app or something, like it's something that you could potentially get cheaper if it fell within the guidelines of what this app can actually do, right? Otherwise, a custom app, we'd have to build it, but this was intended just to be a cookie cutter, so it can just do a lot of things out the box, but it's more restricted on how it will look. So you can have like just general sections for they have one for like weddings, like for hosting events and stuff. You can book it, which will take you to a URL to book it. Otherwise, you can see their documents linked to it. They can link documents. You can download those, share those. There's notification settings so that you can send out things to only people who are interested in them from our admin portal. So if I go to notifications here, this is how the admins will send out notifications once they're logged in. They can just send one out, and then they can just send it immediately to everyone, or they can choose who they want to send it to, or they can schedule it. I'm sorry, they can schedule it, or they can send it immediately. And either way, they can choose who they want to send it to. This would be like the audiences, like you were seeing right there. So they'll show how many people are interested in those things. Not many people interested in knowing information about weddings. Lots of people interested in about specials and offers and deals. So lots of versatility there on the notifications as well. You can also send out recurring notifications called drip notifications here for if people haven't come back to the app for a while. So here they have one every 14 days repeating. Obviously, from your app side, if you want to disable notifications, that's always there from the device itself. So you can see here everything you can manage. So it's everything from news posts to events, services. Those are ones we went through. There is a people section to show I don't know if you want to show staff, or for conferences, that's very helpful for showing attendee lists, stuff like that, right? Testimonials you can show that can have videos and stuff too. Menu items, this section is pretty large from the perspective of what you can all add, and the amount of content it has. You can see they have a lot of items, and then you can edit each of those. Those each have a lot of different things that you can put in, from different prices to descriptions, categories. You can add surveys to them, see how people like them, and link offers to them for a website if you have it as well. You can add widgets. So some people just have widgets, just on your literal the site, people give you a widget, you pop it in there, like a Facebook widget, except probably more complicated ones. Here they would do a reservation one and stuff. So we have a spot where you can put those and where they're actually functional with the app. Photos, there's just a photo section, survey section. So everything is customizable here from the app. And then we also show app stats, and you can have a different portal for your employees to punch codes for the loyalty, so they don't have to sign into the admin account. You can give them each their own separate accounts, which is the login section. So lots of versatility here, lots of ways to customize your doc, lots of ways to customize your sidebar and your icons and such. So that's just one example of a beer and restaurant app. You can kind of get a general gist of what it's like from that. So another app I would like to demo is an iPad app. This one we made a while ago. It's called Reading Room. We made this for a school, and it's to help the children there to, it's Mrs. Meyer's Reading Room. What they do there is they make books. They help children to make books. And so the kid can go on an iPad, they can create a new novel, and then they can draw the pages. They can add new pages, and then they can draw on the pages and like put like text on it. They can even record their voice over it and add things like a background image and text bubbles and stuff like that. So this is an example of a custom made app that we made a while ago. So I'll go ahead and search for my test book real quick. One of my test books. So here's a test book. You can see I have a beautiful image drawn there. So here you can add like, hello, this is the day that Sally went on a walk. I don't know, something a kid might write. I don't know. And then they also have transitions, so that you can see transition words, right? Because they might want you to use like more transition words and stuff like that, because these are young children, right? So you can do that, and then you can add things like speech bubbles, and you can add your voice over it. And then you can also go to this area where you can draw. So here I can pick my color, and I can kind of pick my utensil I want to use. Get some nice grass. And you can kind of like draw with different like utensils and different size brushes and stuff. And then so you can also add an image. You can do a new photo or existing photo, and that'll add it in the entire background of the photo. I'm sorry, I'm just having too much fun right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show a couple more features here. You can add like this thing, and Sally might be like, hey. So yeah, you can add that, and then once you do that, you can jump between pages. This one you don't see until I save it, so you have to exit to save it. So now you can see what I just did there. You can add new pages. I can add a third page. I can add it somewhere in between. You can add it as a normal page or a dedicated page. Difference would be a dedicated page would be like, this is book for someone, right? And if I change it to dedicated, you can kind of see like to and from what it would change for the text there, right? So here you can reorder your pages, you can jump between them. And then there's a lot of features here for finishing it off, right? So you can generate the PDF to print it, and that'll actually print it in a book format that we worked with Mrs. Meyer's Reading Room on, where it'll print off on like double-sided, so that when it goes through, like it's ready to hook into like a binding, so that they can bind it together and have a completed book for everyone. You can like, and then they have passwords set on it, because like kids would screw with each other's books, so they had to ultimately get a password feature. That's kind of an example of how we work with them in the future to help them with what they need, because that wasn't there at first, but they found that people were deleting and editing each other's books and stuff, which is really mean. So yeah, and this too, like when you're creating a book, kind of cool, because their whole point is helping you come up with a story, right? So when you're creating a book, you can initially create it with, like, say, you pick out characters, right? Who's your characters in the book? What are some scenes in the book, right? And then if you do that, when you create a new page, sometimes the app will say, what's this character doing at this place, or something like that. It'll like kind of ask you a question to kind of like help you get started on your story, or like keep it going, right? So it kind of has like some initial settings. I just made a really like blank book, so I didn't do one of those, but it does have that feature as well. So kind of cool. So they use this in their classrooms, and it helps the kids to just be able to draw on an iPad and be able to print that out and make a book out of it. So yeah, other than that, we do a lot of other apps. These apps can be released on the App Store, or they can be released enterprise. So like this is an example of one that they didn't put on the App Store because this isn't available to everyone. This is only for their business. Whereas the restaurant and bar app is one on the App Store because it's available to everyone, obviously, because people have to be able to download the restaurant and bar app. So yeah, anyway, that's all I'll be showing for now. So I will go ahead and pass it back to Jennifer.
Thanks, Nick. I really enjoyed watching you explain that app. And I'm sad that you said it wasn't available on the App Store, because I'm like, that is so cool. Like, my daughter would totally get a kick out of making up her own novel on the iPad. So I think you should make an app like that and actually release it on the App Store. Just a side note, but.
Yeah, no, they considered it, and while I was making it too, I mean, I made so many books. I had fun drawing in it. So.
That's awesome. Well, I think kind of like the two different apps that you just presented on the bar and restaurant one, and then this really custom made specifically for the classroom app, just really shows the versatility of what you and the team can do. Something that I don't remember if you said it or if Michael said it, or sometimes, a while ago when I started working here at Out of the Box Technology, it was basically, if you, the client, the customer, can dream it, this app team can build it. Like, you guys really just have that, intelligence and knowledge about the development side, that you can really take these ideas of our customers and bring them into fruition, which is really excellent. And it's something that maybe a client doesn't really know that they need. Everything's going just fine with their business. Things are going good, business is good, but the addition of a mobile app may really bring you to that next level, may reach a whole nother group of clientele. So this is just something that we're really excited to be able to present to our clients and future clients. And just so you guys know that this is something that we at Out of the Box Technology can do for you. We're not just about QuickBooks. We're not just about bookkeeping. We can expand your business in this way as well. And so I think Jonathan's on the line. And do you have a little bit to talk about just on the graphic side of it? How you can make these all look super pretty. I mean, Nick and Michael make them work perfectly and, just really function amazingly. But that's all for naught, right? If it doesn't look so good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so my name is Jonathan. I'm kind of the designer of really all of the Out of the Box, but also I work closely with Nick and Michael on making the apps. And so what I focus on is really the design aspect of it, making sure all the graphics look great, everything's working right, the interface is really good, all stuff like that. And this really kind of sets us apart from other companies, because from what I've seen in my experiences, when you pay a development company to make an app, a lot of the times we'll kind of throw it together. That's not really what we do. What we really focus on, the whole interface and the graphics, and we make sure it looks nice, because I like making things look nice, so I'm going to make sure that your app is taken care of. And just to give you kind of a general idea of what that process looks like, if you were to make an app with us, we'd kind of sit down with you initially and really figure out all of the features of your app and list them out so that we know exactly what it needs to do. And once we have that done, we move forward with a wireframe. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically a very rough outline of what every page in your app is going to have on it. This doesn't focus on design, but it's more of the functionality of the app. So if we're looking at your home page, we decide, okay, does it need like a login button, a sign out button, a forgot password button, what pages do those buttons go to, all of that kind of stuff. And then we kind of wrap that all together and send it off to you to make sure that we represented all of the features that we talked about and everything looks good to you. Assuming it does, we move forward with the next step, which we call a graphical wireframe. And what that is essentially the same thing as the wireframing stage, but we take everything we made in the wireframing stage and we actually start designing it, and we add colors and your brand to it if you have a brand, and we start making it look nice. And then again, we hand it off to you, get approval, and once that's all set, we hand it off to Nick and Michael where they do their magic and they kind of actually make it work. And then we go through a whole bug testing phase, make sure everything is working properly, and then we release it on the App Store if you would like, or we can do something called an enterprise app where it's not available publicly on the App Store, but there is a way for people to download it. And so a lot of times people include a link to download it on their website, and then that way it's not publicly advertised on the App Store. But either route you take, we can help you with that. And like I said, we really focus on design, and you end up with an app that looks great.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. And really, I work with Jonathan a lot on his with his design capabilities when it comes to all of our marketing materials as well. And I think that when you say you like to make things look good, that is an understatement. I think that you do a great job, whether it's in apps you guys develop or just really any materials that you create. I know Jonathan hosted a Technology Tuesday a couple months ago focusing on the website design side of things and, you know, creating a brand package and logos and all of that. And really, you do a spectacular job. So thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if anyone has any questions who's listening on the line about anything that Michael or Nick or Jonathan spoke about today, go ahead and type those over. But guys, do you have any other things you wanted to just touch on or anything before we wrap up this afternoon?
Nothing in particular, I don't think. I mean, the general gist of it is, you know, I think we walked through most of the process, but I mean, pretty much, yeah, like if we can pretty much make any custom thing. I think that the main differentiation here is just, you know, we have cookie cutter apps that will, you know, can fit a business if you're more flexible on what it's capable of and what, you know, what it looks like, because like those have to look a certain way. But then we also have, you know, custom apps that can be more expensive, but they can pretty much do whatever you want. You know, so I think it's just more important to know like the process, which is pretty much what we walked through, you know, like meet with you, gather requirements, eventually, you know, like do some research, get you a quote, and then go through all the process of the wireframing and the betas and stuff like Michael and John walked through. So
Absolutely. So what would be the typical time frame from start to finish to create an app? Let's say the cookie cutter versus getting really custom. I mean, what are you usually looking at for that?
well, the cookie cutter, because it's done, I can get a beta to a client for that in like a day. For a custom app, you're probably looking at, I mean, it varies so much, but like if I had to give just like an average, I would probably say like maybe a few months to completion. But like it's just super dependent on what you want, right? Because there's a big difference between you know, asking for just one app with no server, no admin portal, no database. It's just an app that just does something, you know, a simple task that just helps them automate something. Or, you know, something on their server that just like automates a process for them that like they're just sick of doing. You know, there's a big difference between that, you know, which could take as little as, you know, within a week to, you know, asking for a major platform, you know, like if I rebuilt the cookie cutter platform, right, from scratch, you know, like that could take, you know, over a year, right? So, you know, it's just kind of dependent on the size of it and what features it has.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely makes sense. So, like, for example, how many hours or weeks or years, hopefully not, did it take to do that story creation app that you did for the school?
Wow, that was a lot. That was a long time ago. But it did not take a year. I think it was probably around, that one may have been around a few months. It was just an iPad app, and it's only on iOS, not on Android. But it also has the server components. so that it stores all the kids' data and backs it up and stuff like that. So
Sure.
I think that probably took a few months.
Okay, no, that's good to know. Now, are clients able to gather data out of the apps and, export to an Excel, for example, with the restaurant if they had a survey or something like that? Like, how does that process work to glean the data from the app?
Yeah, so the data for the apps that we do have information stored in the database, obviously that would be the restaurant app as well as any conference apps and such like that, so that they can know who attended and what people paid and such. Obviously, all the information is in the database. On the admin portal, we have a lot of areas where you can export that data. We have I mean, I can even just show it real quick here. Let me just wait. Where's the sharing? There it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So here, if I do go to, let's go to our event app. Log in here. If I go to one of these and I go to an event, so here's one of their events, and then here I can export their attendees. Also in their registration list, I'll be able to export those there. And then in the restaurant bar app, you can export things like the list of logins for people. You can export also the people attending events and stuff. But more importantly, though, I guess the point is that exporting stuff isn't super difficult. I can even just go straight in the database and just export something custom for you if you wanted. So as long as we have that data in the database, I can add things to automate exporting if there was an admin panel included with it, or I can, simply just go in the database and do a one-time export if someone wanted it. So it can be automated or it can be added pretty easily, and then that can contain whatever information from those fields that they wanted. So
Great, thank you, Nick. So that kind of segues into the next question of what is the ongoing support? What does that look like? As the app's done, it's in the store, people are downloading it, people are using it, kids are creating their stories, and something kind of goes awry or isn't working, or we feel, oh, we'd like to add this feature. How available are you, I suppose, and how would that process work to contact you for support and any changes?
Well, yeah, I mean, so availability, I guess, first of all, yeah, people from previous apps, they do email me, and some, first of all, maintenance will depend on if they have a maintenance package that we've agreed on already. So they can either choose to do some agreed upon maintenance, because different apps are going to require different maintenance depending on how big they are, right? So a really simple app that's only on one platform will require almost no maintenance, versus an app that has a lot of running parts on servers, different iOS apps, Android apps, stuff like that. Because for maintenance too, you have to remember it's not only for when they need new features and only for when something that I wrote might break or something, right? It's for iOS, everyone who has an iPhone knows how often they update literally the operating system and come out with new phones. And on Android, it's the exact same deal. New phones all the time, new operating systems. These things affect the apps, and also they come out with new rules that you need to do with the app. So as an example, for the apps that send out push notifications for Android, just a few days ago on the 29th, they disabled the old way that Android phones do notifications. Now, they let you know about this before they disabled it, but then they end up disabling the old way to do it because they migrated to a new way of doing push notifications. Well, the old way worked when I wrote it, but now it doesn't anymore. So maintenance packages can help with that. Otherwise, if you need to change, a lot of people honestly just our apps do obviously work for a long time until things like that happen where they're kind of forced to not work anymore from an operating system change. Because as long as you're using the same operating system, you're using the same device, and you're running the same app, it should continue to work in the same manner. Otherwise, if you don't have a maintenance package or some kind of agreed upon monthly deal or something like that, a lot of the apps we do are just a one-time write-off. Okay, here's your price, there's your app. And then if you want a change or you need help just kind of bring your app up to speed, you can tell us the problem, we'll look into it, and we'll just quote you just for those hours. Now, the important thing to remember with our company, and this is actually a really, really, really important thing to note, is that we give you the code. You own all of it from start to finish, because we take retainers and we take the money out of those retainers. So you've already paid for all the code we've completed. If you don't like us while we're writing your project, or if you don't like us after we complete your project, or you don't like what we're quoting you or what we're charging you to fix things, you do not have to stay with us. You have all the code. You have everything that you need to go somewhere else. We give you access to the servers. We give you access to the databases. You can just take everything you have and take it to another company and have them fix it for you if you don't like what we're doing. So that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on. We like to keep our customers around because they want to stay with us, not because they made an app and we charge them something and they have to pay it because we made it and we're like holding their code hostage. That's not our style. So that's a really important thing to note here with how we do maintenance too. So anyway, yeah. So if they wanted something changed and they don't have a maintenance package with, like, a lot of people tend to just go with like the one-time thing, then we do charge for completely custom development hours for any small updates or maintenance or changes like that. And those I respond to emails extremely quickly. So most of the clients just contact me directly and just let me know when they need a change. I'll schedule a meeting with them or tell them when I can get to it or when I can talk to them about it. I can normally talk to them about it even within the day usually, honestly. But then, when I can get to it will depend on the size of the item that's being changed. It'll depend on the size of the item that's being changed, as well as how many other things are in the docket. So if it's a really quick thing, I'll just do it real quick. If it's a bug that's completely breaking their project, I obviously prioritize that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Sounds like you're really on top of everything. I know some of the emails that I've been a part of with some of the apps, you're really right on it, and you're answering questions and providing the information that the customer needs. So I can attest to that as well, as I've seen that firsthand. So thank you. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions coming through, but if anyone listening on the line thinks of something later on, this session is being recorded. And so if you watch it back and you think of something, feel free to reach out to us. You can email us either sales at Out of the Box Technology or customer care at Out of the Box Technology. Will hit myself or Nick or one of these guys on the development team for sure. Or give us a call, and we'd be happy to answer your questions, or if you think you want to explore the option of having an app, definitely reach out to us. We're here and ready to work with you. So thank you to our whole development team, Michael, Nick, and Jonathan, for your time today. I know you guys are all super busy, but I do really appreciate you joining us today and talking about the things that you're working on and how all of our customers can explore moving forward in this manner if they so choose. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Next week, our Technology Tuesdays do continue. We're super excited. Next Tuesday, we're going to have one of our founding partners, Lisa McCarthy, will be on with us talking about the consulting services that Out of the Box Technology offers and just her insight into the industry. I mean, Lisa is a very, very knowledgeable individual and really leads this company with such grace, and we're so thrilled to have her on next week to impart her knowledge on all of us and all of you who will be joining us. Again, all of these Technology Tuesdays are completely free. You can register, invite your friends, have them come listen on. In 2 weeks, we'll have a representative from Intuit on with us. She will be talking about QuickBooks Payroll. Then we have a couple of our friends from different companies will be joining us for a few weeks, QVinci, TSheets, and Xero, going over all of the different solutions that they offer as well. We love our friends in the industry, and we're happy to have them on with us for Technology Tuesday. So feel free to check those out. Again, all of them are completely free, and we do record them all. So if you aren't able to join, you can check out our blog to see the recordings of previous Technology Tuesdays. So thank you all for joining us. We appreciate your time today. If you want any more information on any of the things that we talked about today or anything else going on at Out of the Box Technology, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to chat. Or if you have a topic that you want us to present on, whether it's an industry topic or a product that you have heard about or whatnot, let me know, and I'd be happy to get that on the schedule. So thank you again, all. We hope to see you again next week. Have a great day.